Okay, so I bought $45,000 of Bitcoin ETF BitU, and I plan to buy much more. I'm going to show you guys what that position looks like in a second, and I'm going to go over a lot of stuff we need to keep an eye on, at least in my own opinion, and I'm going to share with you guys how I am personally managing the charts to really, not just prepare for the rest of what I believe is still a bull cycle, but to also prepare for good discount buying opportunities and how we can confirm that we are going to hold higher prices, right? So here's the position. I'm going to show you guys right there. It's broken down into two, although they're both cash position. Even though one says margin, it was just for some reason triggered as a phantom trade, but it is a cash position. So 45,000 invested overall. Overall, the swing position is up slightly at the moment, and I plan to add much more. I plan to add another $25,000 into this swing trade, and I'm gonna show you guys where I'm gonna buy. And again, this is all just my own opinion and how I am personally approaching these prices. And in no way am I telling anyone to copy. Just sharing my opinion. So we know that we have a U.S. jobs report coming out real soon. We got to keep an eye on that. It's going to be very important. It's going to give us a really good understanding of what we can expect from the Fed soon, right? Because we have a Fed meeting coming up soon enough, so we got to keep an eye out on that, as well as any more CPI reports that come out going forward as well. So we have a lot to look forward to, and you guys got to remember, we've seen this happen so many times in the past, is hyped markets, a lot of just optimistic expectations leading to big announcements. Right now, that jobs report is very important. Of course, the CPI and the Fed meeting that will eventually come out as well. But this is all we're approaching this with a very much optimistic market at the moment, and that's why we're seeing Bitcoin go up a lot more. We're seeing the S&P just push to higher highs, and as well as I believe the VIX is still dropping. Yeah, the VIX is still dropping, but hey, who knows? We can potentially see this pump pretty nicely. We can maybe see some weakness in the market, quick pumps on the VIX, quick dips in the overall market once this jobs report comes out. Because who knows, right? Expectations are high. Really good stuff is expected. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. We kind of seen this happen a lot in the past, so we'll see if this is enough to really make us want to hold higher prices and potentially go even higher. So this is what I'm going to do, because yesterday I did say that if we break resistance, which we did, then we're looking for, which will be the first level of bullish confirmation, but there's multiple levels to it. For those of you that are new, I'm going to go over the short term and the bigger picture as well, so we can get a better understanding of what's going on. So I'm going to be repeating some stuff from previous videos. But basically, from what I said on yesterday's video, we did break resistance, and we're continuing to trade above the 120 moving average. The RSI is very much over exhausted, but this can continue to maximize the RSI to the upside, due to, again, a lot of this optimistic nature that we have right now. But this jobs report is coming out real soon, though, so there's not much waiting time left. So as of right now, the resistance now turns into support. So here's the new support for this. What I'm looking for in order to, potentially go with that we're not going to see below 100K anymore, is holding support and then breaking the current swing high within this structure and getting even closer to potentially breaking into this green area, which will be very bullish, and it can open the ways up for much higher prices real soon. But again, it's very important to understand that, hey, in the short term, optimistic markets due to anticipated news is not a good enough reason to over leverage yourself in the short term, which is why I'm being very cautious and accumulating very lightly some BitU exposure. To get into Bitcoin, I'm accumulating very lightly, because as of this moment, we can easily come back down. We can easily go back into the purple and break below 100K once again, so we can have another deep value buying opportunity. And this purple area is, of course, just an overall retracement, simple fib retracement for this whole move higher right here from the overall swing low. And then it's also, very, very similar to something we've seen in 2024. We had deep value tested 3 times, just like, early this year, deep value was below 80K. It was tested 3 times. Then we had a bullish move that broke previous resistances. And now we're just trying to see if the overall support it's enough to push the price higher. In 2024, it really wasn't. We broke into it briefly, 0.35, 0.5, broke in between them, broke over it. Everyone was getting really, really optimistic short term, but of course, we held below the overall swing high. And then we had a deeper test, this time finally breaking below 0.5, creating a really, really good, just a lot more proper and attractive overall, dip for a higher low. And then much, much higher prices came up soon. So you guys got to keep in mind that, the current macro characteristics are very similar to the one in 2024. So, besides the 3 deep value dips below 80K, rally breaking previous resistances, we now have been keeping track, this time in purple, we've been keeping track of the overall retracement. Now, as you can see, we hit the overall retracement below the 0.35, but above the 0.5, so below 100K, but holding above 95K. Price breaks up higher. As of this moment, the overall swing high is all-time high at the moment, which is right here. We're still below that, which means if a lot of this optimistic price action is not enough to hold the price higher when jobs reports comes out real soon, and of course, some inflation and Fed announcements eventually come out, if we cannot hold because it's due to anticipation more than, actual underlying fundamental reasons, then we can easily see support breaking. This overall support, we hit it. It was good enough. We bounced off the 0.35. It was super weak. If we didn't have this overly optimistic anticipation for a lot of these reports coming out soon, then I believe we would have easily broken below 105 and just tried trading, around that 103K level to really, give it a little bit of a proper, more confident, higher low from here. So then we can really, try to keep an eye on, how healthy the higher structures can be. But regardless, we broke over the swing high. So we're just keeping an eye on micro support, so smaller picture support, mixing with the 120 moving average. I'm not really expecting, the support can hold and we can see a little bit of some bullish consolidation within here as the price tries to dip lower. But I don't really think, at least as of this moment, I want to wait for this jobs report to come out to get a better idea of what's going on in the bigger picture, like officially. But I don't believe this is enough of a healthy bullish, price structure to really say that we're not going to be going down any lower. This isn't very good. There's a lot of caution right here. That's why I'm accumulating BitU slowly, because I want to conserve capital, buy at better discounted levels. Unless we get bullish confirmation, then I'll be adding within, smaller picture retracements. But at least at the moment, I want to conserve a lot more capital to buy at deeper discounts. The position is in the profit right now, so that's good. I plan to buy a lot more, and I expect Bitcoin to be much, much higher this year. But at least in the short term, it's I don't believe that it's it's good to say that the low is in just yet. There's a lot of what ifs, and again, that's the reports coming out soon, and then getting proper bullish confirmation, which we don't have yet. So I'm just throwing a lot of caution out there, at least in my own opinion. There's a lot of caution right now. I'm not saying to short, but I am saying to just, focus on position sizing and keep SLs on your long trades. In my opinion, very very well placed, because again, there's FOMO in the market right now. We all know what happens with FOMO trades as we create, new highs within a current structure. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and take care.